Hello, I'm Pete Green. Welcome to my home in Sheffield. It would have been lovely to have been doing this for you in real life at the Skep, but it's great to be doing it for you like this. I've got 3 poems. First is a fairly new one, which I wrote in February of this year. And I'm not going to say too much about it, because it's one of those that I think says everything it needs to in the text. This is called "To a Vagrant Black-Throated Thrush Sighted in Grimsby over Brexit Weekend. Please display your plumage with a neutral expression. The procedure starts with these frontline officers whose photography is vital to our records. Sightings of your kind are rare in these parts. Any more than 1 or 2 a year would represent an influx and prompt policy reviews. Sound shaking your feathers is not incipient thunder, but the ghosts of boilermakers, trawlermen, pump houses by the graving dock. 50 years of dereliction now transmuted to a seismic growl. Sing of the renegade currents that jet streamed you to this outpost. Picture to our colleagues your undocumented passage of the Balkans, your precarious flight path above Bohemia and Maastricht. Please remain in the nest provided for your own safety while your quarantine is paperwork. Try not to take flight, unnerved by the clicking shutters, the gunpowder, the senior white men and their coronavirus glances, the triumphalism spiked with envy, the tripods morphing into pitchforks. It is normal for your wings to tremble at these explosions in the sky. Actually, I am going to say a little bit about that poem. I grew up in Grimsby, and I feel conflicted about that in many ways. It is part of who I am. I try to be proud of where I come from, and that's difficult, given the huge vote for leaving the European Union that took place in Grimsby, where the fishing industry has been destroyed, and people blame Europe for it. And then during Brexit weekend, there actually was a black-throated thrush there, which is a very rare sight, and people came out with their cameras to welcome this visitor from elsewhere and lit up fireworks to celebrate leaving. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to do 2 poems from this collection. I was lucky enough to be shortlisted. I didn't win it, but I was shortlisted for a poetry prize in 2019, awarded by the University of Leeds, called the Brotherton Poetry Prize. And this is an anthology of work by all the poets who were shortlisted. The other poets are fantastic as well, so I strongly recommend this. So I'm going to do some from here. And this one, because it's April, is A Cherry Tree in April. 11 months of ruggedness are so much grey pretence. Oak is not the only tree, so spare these bruising lenticels all that is boisterous. Let us ditch our boreal cliches of fortitude, shrug aside statuesque machismo, that I may transition into springtime with insouciant pizzazz, to ripple and relinquish these ticker tape pinks, adolescent bridesmaid adorning a breeze. Let breathless fritillaries fangirl each lush inflorescence, fulfilling the lilac identity. May fritters away to the roadside, June denudes us of. Remember me like this, not taciturn and shrinking, stoic sapless, not abiding the doltish brunt of boot and clamber, but as I bear myself, unabashed of silken prettiness in April's scantest aperture. I'm not sure if there was an intervention from my cat passing behind me at some point there, but there you are. That's the beauty of these things, and leaving some of it to chance, I suppose. I've got one more for you. This poem comes from a time, almost exactly 2 years ago, when I was taken into hospital with an irregular heartbeat. So I was diagnosed with a condition called atrial fibrillation, which is basically an irregular heartbeat, and that seemed rich with metaphor. So this is where that poem came from, and it's called "My Heart Is Not Iambic." My heart is not iambic. My heart was reverse engineered from a mapping by trans-thoracic echocardiogram, yielding the blueprints for sonic cathedrals. My heart is not iambic, nor spondaic, nor the pedestrian drummer who plods the terrains of mid-tempo with a landfill indie band. My heart is sometimes dactylic, with episodes of paroxysmal sprung rhythm. My heart improvises interludes in awkward times, 5/4, 9/8. My heart knows the grand insurmountable force of the notes you don't play, of the beats that it skips, of white space on a page, of mutual deterrence. My heart is a concept album about brinkmanship. My heart tends to improvise lengthy, meandering solos, remembering kisses averted by ice-cool disposal squads snipping through the correct artery with 3 seconds remaining on the timer. My heart still extrapolates 4 hypothetical lovers from out of the time-effaced memory of those averted kisses. My heart has a GPS tracker which faithfully relays its roving data to my hypothetical lovers. My heart is revealed by the tracker at moments of orgasm, decord and total eclipse to be located simultaneously everywhere and nowhere. My heart is awaiting the leaving of my hypothetical lovers, allowing its status to switch to unknown, simultaneously beating and not beating. My heart is Schrodinger's heart. My heart did not chart. My heart is the makeshift device that failed to detonate but is yet to be made safe. My heart is not iambic. My heart's frequent flare-ups of narrow, complex tachycardia aim to articulate some of the many anxieties of a fibrillating world. My heart notes the way Ernest Rutherford's work split the atom and aims to apply the same principles to itself, to your name, to common sense, to split the morphine. My heart's diffident rhythm is fixed by the faltering tick of the dissident bomb that forgot the script and slumbered forlorn in an Audi coupe during my blowout in a bar 50 metres away. My heart's twitchy syncopation is chiefly dictated by Article 50 and Hurricane Katrina. My heart rate reflects fluctuations in staffing of libraries and the declining extent of polar bear territory. My heart takes the point that unemphasized syllables echo the stressed beats to come, but sinkholes in Florida issue no terse coded warning before ingesting a laundromat. My heart rejects regular meter and classic fixed forms on the basis that both constitute a poetic and cardiological fallacy during a week that sees mustard gas cascade on Damascus and the Duchess of Sussex close a car door. My heart may once have been iambic, but not since it marked the chaotic dispersion of billowing rubble and dust from the asymmetrical collapse of the towers. My heart acts on feedback from specialists, finding no special affinity, threading a rock-steady narrative, ba-dum, 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 through a midnight flurry of knives in backstreet Hackney. My heart has been scanned under sterile conditions by prominent figures in cultural studies and diagnosed as post-ironic, with high risk of becoming post-ironic. My heart is not iambic. My heart was once schooled in strict rhyming tetrameter pairs by a time-serving teacher detesting all poetry, children, or both, and predictably it took a wayward turn. My heart pauses frequently, giving your heart ample time to confirm understanding or challenge the presuppositions underlying its most recent beat. My heart is the one who asks unneeded questions as seminars draw to a close, thus incurring the fury of delegates by delaying the break for coffee. My heart has no integral memory and strongly objects to the use of the phrase off by heart to denote something learned. My heart is the opposite of autocorrect. My heart is an obsolete means of encryption. My heart is making landfall over Gulfport, Mississippi. My heart suspends its business so that summits can conclude negotiations and sign off important treaties between beats. My heart looked on passively as the space between its beats was declared terra nullius by a speculative group of internet cranks who proceeded to colonise the space and found a micronation. My heart then evicted the settlers by beating at 149 BPM. My heart leaves its beating to one day before a tough deadline and then pulls an all-nighter. My heart is not teetotal. My heart is basically trolling me. My heart is appalled by its own timidity. My heart's staccato signature is as distinctive as a fingerprint and will betray me to the authorities. My heart's latest plot was uncovered by squads of elite cardiologists fixing electrodes to my trembling skin and monitoring its suspicious activity for 48 hours. When they flicked the switch, the screen montaged through ones and zeros, nanobots, flash floods, tap water run through with trihalomethanes and lead, convulsing commodity markets, the planet's dwindling lithium deposits, zeros, trenches of flame stacked with oranges covered in kerosene then set ablaze to protect wholesale value, ones and zeros, a soundless Nuremberg rally with 1 million blank faces in headphones, zeros, barcode tattoos, 3D printed handguns, a human resources boss contemplating subcutaneous microchip implants to monitor staff, flatlining commodity markets, quantum foam, grey goo, the whole world swiping left. Thanks very much. I hope you've enjoyed those, and I hope you enjoy all the other poetry and music that you're watching from our virtual words and music at the Skep. And I hope the lockdown is treating you reasonably well, and that you're keeping safe. And hope to see you on the other side. Take care.